All right, welcome everybody. I am super excited. I've been looking forward to this very moment for a long time. I'm Mark Bradley. I'm the one who has been mail bombing you. So I apologize if you feel like I've over communicated, but that's kind of my style. Next slide, please. I do want to introduce some of the leadership. So Randy in the back is the boss. We all do exactly what he tells us to do. By the way, if you have a phone, if you want to take a picture of this slide so you know who to complain to when I screw up. So Randy's the boss. He's the CSFOA president and one of the area directors. I am the vice president and I'm the training director. And then we have Eric McCormick in the back, who is also on the training team. Dean Rook is our secretary treasurer, so he's the one who takes your money and then spends it. He's a DoD contractor. He goes to Vegas all the time. So when we're short on funds, we know why. And then Tim Ferks is one of our crew chiefs. Randy is a crew chief. I'm a crew chief. Tim is a crew chief. So some of you will be on one of the three of us, and then other crew chiefs may or may not come. We have a member at large that may come, James Bennell. But until you are drafted, and thank you those who are already taking notes, I hope everybody has something to write with, because today's session, hopefully when you walk out of here, you'll have some peace of mind, because we will lay out all of the expectations. And I'm big on providing expectations, so you'll know exactly what is expected and when. But on the 28th of July, we're going to have a draft, and you will be drafted onto one of 8 crews, and I'll tell you about that in a few slides. So has anybody not paid local dues? The $30. Thank you for that. Dean has collected your money. The $30 for CSFOA, a lot of it goes to our assigner, Scott Samsel. And we pay him to reach out to all the schools, and they give him their schedules, and then he creates 8 schedules that are then given to the crew chiefs. And then also, if we have something going on during the season, I pick up the phone, Scott, I'm out of Schlitz, I need help, I need a body to officiate a game. He steps in and helps. Some of the other money that you have just paid goes toward paying the Westside Global Methodist Church to use their facilities a couple of times, and it goes toward paying for, Dean, we don't pay for Huddle anymore. What else do we pay for with the $30?
Website?
So the CSFOA website that we're going to look at real quick. Yeah, so we try to use your money wisely. And then CFOA and CHASA are going to take some money from you, and I'll explain that in a few minutes. And their money goes toward, their employees. They have some employees. The books that you have, these books are not free. You paid for them. You will pay for them when you pay. If you decide at the end of this that this is just not for you, we will give you your money back. You hand us the books. You say, you know what? I just decided this isn't for me. No hard feelings. You can come to the game and scream at us, but we'll hand you your $30 back. All right. So please write this down. This is a big moment for you on Tuesday, September 28th. July. Thank you, July. Yeah, I'm going to be corrected 100 times tonight. July 28th at the Westside Global Methodist Church, not here. And I will continue to mail bomb you with all this information again and again. But on the 28th at 5:30, you are going to show up. Eric is going to give you a presentation while one by one you walk into a room, and the 8 crew chiefs will be sitting in the room, and they're just going to have a chat. And they're going to say to you, tell us about yourself, and they're especially interested in your availability. Because if you can officiate football games, you are like gold. if you're the best football official in the world and you can only work one game, you probably won't get drafted right away. So and by the way, if you can only work one game, we still want you. We still want you. You're an independent contractor. You just have to decide, do I want to pay all this money to only make one game fee? But we definitely want you to join us. I'm gonna send out a Survey Monkey questionnaire. I'm gonna send it out by email. You're gonna go into Survey Monkey and you're gonna fill out a questionnaire. And the purpose of the questionnaire is for you to tell us, who you are, give us your contact info so your crew chief can talk to you, and then tell us your availability, because that's important. So we want you to be as precise and detailed as possible. Like every day, every Monday, I can be on the field at 4, and every Tuesday I can be on the field at 4:15, that kind of detail. I want you to prioritize your family. I want you to prioritize your spouse if you have one. I want you to prioritize your dog and your cat. Well, not your cat. Don't prioritize your cat. But football officiating should not be more important than your family. And if I'm your crew chief, that'll be one of my messages to you. That a really quick story, and if you watched my video, you probably heard this story, is I did girls lacrosse, I did semi-pro football, I did high school football, and I did basketball. And one day I had my bag to walk out to go to a football or to a basketball game, and my wife started to cry. And I said, "What's wrong?" And she said, "I really miss you." Because all I was doing was officiating. So the punchline is, you as an independent contractor get to decide the number of days you want to work. It's just, as a drug deal, the crew chiefs need to hear that. And it's okay for you to say, "I only want to work Saturdays," or I don't want to work the first half of the season, or whatever. If you let us know, then we can make informed decisions. All right? Okay. Dean, can you grab?
Yes, sir.
How are you doing, sir? Dean will help you out. All right, so the end state. Those of you that are in the military, we talked about working from the target backward, right? So the end state is that you get drafted, but before you get drafted, you must pass an 80-question true-false test, except Tim, you're not going to pass the test, you're going to pass the playoff test. Okay?
Yeah.
So we need you to be eligible for playoffs. You're going to pass the 80-question true-false test, and everything that we do in the next couple of weeks is going to help you pass that test. I want you to the test is going to open tomorrow, the 1st of July, and you won't even get emails yet because CHASA doesn't know you exist until I tell them you exist. But we will send your name to CHASA, and I'll talk about that in a second. Don't take the test, even though you're in CHASA and they know who you are. Don't take the test until we're done with class on the 21st of July. Then you get between the evening of the 21st and the evening of the 28th, which is the draft night, to pass the test. Mm. We don't want you to not take the test or not pass the test, because then you will not be drafted.
Hey, Mark.
Yes.
Your PowerPoint says the 27th.
Oh, yes, the 27th, thank you. That's 2 mistakes in like 5 minutes. Randy and I want to have enough time to bless you to put you on the draft roster. So the 27th is really your deadline. It's an 80-question true-false test. And it's a brand new vehicle this year that the CFOA has designed to take the test, and it's beautiful. I've looked at it. Randy is part of the committee that is executing it. It's a great way to take the test. I just want you to take your time and look at the rules book and look up every single answer. You can take for 1 week to take the test and pass it. And here is and I can't believe I'm saying, should I say it? You need to somehow take notes as you're taking the test to say, okay, question 1 was this question, and question 2 was this question, and 3 was this question. And it'll take a little bit of nut work to do that, because when you get your feedback, if you fail the test, you want to know which questions did I say true, right? Because the next time you take it, the answer is no longer true. Does that make sense? There's only 2 possible answers. That doesn't apply to you. There's going to be 4 answers. Is anybody confused about what I just said? Do not go flying through the test. Randy's confused? Do not go flying through the test and just answer, and find out that you failed, and now you don't know why. You don't know which questions, and you said, okay, I missed question 1, but I don't even remember what question 1 was, and I don't really remember if I answered true or false. So good luck. Go ahead, Randy.
So that statement was true in the past. This year, the only questions you get asked the second time
Are the ones you failed.
Are the ones you missed.
Yeah,
So you just need to know how you answered it.
right.
And so if you miss 20 questions out of the 80, you'll only get the 20 that you missed the second time through.
But you need to know what that
You
question
need to know-
was
You need to know what you
And what you
answered.
and what you answered.
How long before you possibly get to take the test again? Or do
You can do it right
fail-
away.
Oh, so you can redo it?
Yeah, yep. All right, any questions? Oh, by the way, in this class, we're going to talk about rules and mechanics. Mechanics is a big deal. Mechanics is, where do I stand? How do I move? Where do I look? How do I blow my whistle? How do I throw my flag? And Eric is going to hammer that, because being a good official is, it's not a 3-legged stool, it's like an 8-legged stool. How to communicate with coaches is another leg. How to communicate with players is another leg. How to ignore parents is another leg. So we don't expect you to be a rules or mechanics expert at the end of July, but I'm going to be duplistic. Do I expect you to be the rules expert in 1 month?
Yes.
Yes. I don't expect you because you're new, but do you want to become the rules expert? Yes. You should have that mentality that if I call you up and I'm your crew chief and I say, everybody just died, I need you to be a referee, you say, I'm ready to go. I'm being a little facetious, but you don't have permission to just be mediocre. And hopefully my emails have resonated where we really want excellence. And you don't want to try to be mediocre. And I see good nonverbals, I see good eye contact, I see people taking notes. So I have high hopes already. We are not going to go into the weeds, and we're not going to talk about momentum exception in detail. We do realize that as a brand new official, it's like penguins on an iceberg. Everybody has this iceberg that can hold so many penguins, and my iceberg is like this big. I can hold 2 penguins. And when one penguin jumps on, another one gets shoved off. Some of you are so smart that you can hold 100 penguins, but still that 101st penguin that jumps on, one's going to get shoved off. So we realize that you only have so many brain bites. And we're not going to try to overload you, because then you'll be discouraged, and we don't want you to be discouraged. We want you to be excited, like I am. Okay, so the resources we are going to look at, this is one of the most important ones. It is not a rule book, it's a rules book, because there's more than one rule. So we're going to spend some time teaching you how to open and read the rules book. There is also a case book, and I will address the case book. The case book has plays that will talk through a concept, give you a play, then give you the answer. I will warn you that this casebook is not perfect. And if you are reading the casebook and it's like, that does not pass the giggle test, there's something wrong here, you can reach out and say, is there something wrong? And the answer may be yes. We also have this wonderful document called the Reading Study Guide by George Demetrio. George Demetrio is a beloved Colorado Springs official who is in the NFHS Hall of Fame, and he's in the CHSAA Hall of Fame. And he is the author of this book. And people email him from all over the world to ask him about football rules. So this book is amazingly good. This isn't the rules book. The rules book is what you have to learn, but this will amplify the rules book times 1,000. So this is a wonderful resource. When I was a rookie, I read this cover to cover. Start in page 1 and just read it to the end. And what I would say is, I'm the CSFOA training director. I am your crew chief for this entire month with Eric. Once you get on a crew, your crew chief is in charge. But I am always available for you to email me as your training director. So you're not doing skip echelon, you're not backdooring your crew chief. Some crew chiefs, Tim knows the rules very well, Randy knows the rules very well, I feel I know the rules very well, but it's okay to communicate with us. And if you would like to use the Reading Study Guide kind of as, you're gonna write in it, you're gonna highlight it, you're gonna write notes, and then I'm retired. I don't do anything for a living except football. And I don't do it for a living, I just do it. So I'm happy to sit down at the computer and spend 30 minutes replying to all of your questions. So I want to make that available to you. And then the website that is my website, artofofficiating.com. I highly recommend that you register for the my newsletter. And also, if you look on the homepage, on the top right-hand corner, there is an RFP, stands for Ready for Play. And over the last 2 years, I've written about 140 articles. And the articles also contain a quiz question. So it's an article about a topic, and then there's a quiz question at the bottom. And if you register for the Ready for Play articles, I'm going to start pumping them out probably the middle of August. You will get a fresh one every time I hit send. So I think that's a pretty good resource. Okay, any questions about what we've talked about so far? Okay, this is a hybrid training approach. So everybody, and Randy and I and Eric have had a conversation. And you are the first class where we are not going to put up with crap anymore. I'm a very candid person. I want to tell you I love you desperately, but you are going to hear candid comments from me. I hate it when people go onto the football field and they haven't tried to become good at what they do. So if you go in for surgery, if your doctor had been a minimalist, or if law enforcement stops you on the side of the road and they don't know the law and they drag you out of the car because they don't know the law, or name the profession, if they're mediocre, you don't want to interact with them. You don't want to eat at a restaurant when they're mediocre. You want excellence. And we owe excellence to the coaches and players and parents. So we are going to be more difficult on you guys than we've been with any class in the past. So if you have not registered for the website, welcome.
Hello.
Dean will take you. If you have not registered for the website, or you have not done the quiz, I want to show you how I can track every time you breathe at your computer. I will track your progress. So here is an example, not of anybody in this room, but a previous student. Here is an example of somebody who is not taking this seriously. What they did was it took them 5 minutes and 17 seconds to do 10 questions, and all they did was go through and click. They failed, and then they noted what the right answer was, because I think it's important for me to give you the right answer and give you an explanation why, and then they'll just retake the test and pass it. That's not what we want. So we don't want you to not watch the videos. That's a double negative. We want you to watch the videos. We want you to pay attention. We want you to take notes. And now that you have your rules book, you can look up the rules as I talk through it. Steve, were you the one that emailed me and said, yeah, Steve emailed me and he said, hey, where's my rules book? I want a rules book. So now you have a rules book. You've got a notebook. I would say be an active learner. And then when you take the quiz, if I see that you fail the quiz and you took 3 minutes to answer 20 questions, I hate you. I don't want you to be a football official. But if you took 25 minutes to answer 20 questions, I love you, even if you fail. We just want you to try. All right? Okay, so we realize this is going to be a fire hose. I call it the ugly duckling syndrome. Everything is awkward. Your learning curve is vertical. Even if you played football in college, being a football official is completely different. Even if you coached high school football, being a football official is completely different. Always reach out to me or Eric. I swear to you, if you email me or text me 100 times a day, I'm happy to answer your questions. Okay? You get to decide how much effort you put into officiating. And you get to decide if you want to work varsity games and be an excellent official that everybody wants on the game, or if you're one of those folks that, we whisper about in the dark. Because I'm just going to say as a general statement, you're a first-year official 30 years in a row. We want people who are passionate, and the statement, it's okay to make a mistake, just don't make it twice, does not apply to football officiating. Hey, Eric.
Hey,
Good to see you. You will make the same mistake 100 times. If your name is Mark Bradley, you will. So we just want people to try to put in effort, and then to take feedback well, and to move forward. And one of the things in the military, we called it failing forward. You fail, and you debrief, and you learn, and you move on. And you may make the same mistake again, that's okay. And you may make the same mistake again, that's okay. I've had at least 3 inadvertent whistles in high school football games, and probably 20 more that I don't know about because they didn't manifest themselves. How many of you in this room, veterans, have never had an inadvertent whistle? See? So, and those could be big mistakes. Okay, so if you decide at the end of this night that it's not for you, and this Mark Bradley guy is a complete jerk, we'll give you your money back. We'd be happy to. All right. We have a couple of famous officials that came out of Colorado Springs. One of them is Randy Campbell, who is the RMAC supervisor of officials right now, the Rocky Mountain Athletic Conference. I got this from him. I don't know if he came up with this or he learned it from someone else. But as a general statement, we exist as football officials to make sure that one team does not gain an unfair advantage based on the rule book. So They're not holding, they're not blocking below the waist, they're not, throwing an illegal forward pass, they're not committing a delay of game foul. We want the teams to perform within the rules. And then if one team beats another team within the rules, then that's good. Another thing that we do is facilitate safety. Now, if a player breaks a leg, let's say there's a block below the waist and a player's leg is broken, that's not our fault. The parents will say it's our fault, but it's not our fault. But facilitating safety is, a lot of the rules are safety related. The illegal blindside block is a safety rule. Blocking below the waist is a safety rule. And then finally, and this is super important, is we exist to facilitate the game. Blowing the ready for play, marking the ball, getting forward progress, getting the clean ball onto the field and the dirty ball off of the field, speaking to coaches. That's all game facilitation. Without officials, we don't have a football game. So it's important. I remember I did a playoff game, I think 2 or 3 years ago. I'm embarrassed to say. I brain farted on the meetup time. We were going up to Denver, and I brain farted on the meetup time, and so I was late to pick up my crew. And on I-25, there was a huge accident. So we were like 45 minutes late. And it was horrible. But they couldn't start the game without us. Even though we were all, the start of the game sucked. Because we were all anxious because I screwed up. All right, this is CSFOA, Colorado Springs Football Officials Association. Who's the boss? That good-looking man in the back is the boss. We cover down, we're the second largest association in Colorado. Denver is 1. Who's number 3?
Pueblo?
Who's 3?
Who's 2?
Pueblo's 2.
Pueblo's not big
He's
enough.
on a size,
I'm
not.
talking size.
Oh, yeah, we're 2.
We're 2, who's 3?
Fort Collins or Pueblo?
Okay, so, yeah, Denver's huge, we're kind of semi-huge. We have 90 officials, and then you guys will add to the 90. So let's say we have 105 when the dust settles. And then the other, I think Pueblo has maybe 30. So we're a large, we're BMOCs almost. Denver's the BMOC, we're next. We drive all the way to Deer Trail. We go to Genoa Hugo, we go up to Kiowa, and then also, if they like the Arkansas Valley, they do what's the name of the
Butte
little
Vista?
6-man?
Cotopaxi.
Cotopaxi. So they may not be able to cover down on Cotopaxi, so guess what we get to do? We get to drive to Cotopaxi. So I've gone all the way up to Lamar. We'll range to Rocky Ford. We'll go to Walsenburg.
Up to South.
That's Rocky Ford, right?
Yeah, up to South Park.
South Park, yeah, that's pretty far. I should probably put that on the slide. That's a haul. Yeah. So that's CSFOA. When you hear us say NFHS, and the acronym is goofy, it's the National Federation of State High School Associations. They're the ones, so if we say, Coach, this is NFHS. Texas is the only state that does not do high school NFHS rules, they do college rules. It used to be Massachusetts and Texas, and now it's just Texas. So there are actually 50 because the District of Columbia has an association. So there are 50 states, 49 states plus the District of Columbia that use this rule book called NFHS. So whenever you hear us say NFHS, that's high school football rules. We will talk later about how one of the reasons for confusion is coaches and parents and players will watch television, and they'll see a play that happens on a college football field or an NFL field, and they'll expect the rules the same. And there are like 400 rule differences or 500 rule differences between the NFL and college, and 350 rules differences between college and high school. So there are a lot of rules differences, and we get yelled at a lot because the parents or coaches or players don't understand high school football rules. CHSAA, when I say CHSAA, their headquarters is up in Denver, Colorado High School Activities Association. They're the ones that sanction the C-Squad, JV, and high school games. They don't do middle school. So if we screw up on a middle school football field, we don't hear from CHSAA. We hear from the middle school league. So when we say CHSAA, you pay CHSAA dues. That's for the Colorado High School Activities Association that does everything, including, I think they now have online gaming as a CHSAA sport, which is pretty cool. And then CFOA is the Colorado Football Officials Association. And the CFOA has like 17 or 18 areas. I'm looking at Randy, but he's not listening to me. CFOA has how many areas? 16 or, yeah. We're area 3. So if you need to get a tattoo tonight, tattoo the number 3 on your shoulder. Whenever you're asked what area is Colorado Springs, we are area 3. So when you sign up, or if you're in Arbiter, we're area 3. All right, here are some important dates. We've already had the veterans draft. There are now 90 officials that are on 8 crews. And then this is kind of wonky for you guys because we want you to attend the State Master Clinic before you're even on a crew. The cool thing is they're going to have one Master Clinic for the entire state, one instance, and it's going to be simulcast. So we will send you the link, and then if you can't attend, then they're gonna put it online to watch later. So that's cool because you don't have to go to Palmer Ridge High School on a valuable Saturday to sit in a room for 3 hours. So that State Master Clinic, Tim, is going to be important for you for playoffs. But that is going to be the Master Clinic date. Your final day to pass the CFOA exam, the 80 question true false, is the 27th. And again, I don't want you to start it until we're done on Tuesday the 21st, because then you'll have all the information you need. And then you must pass it. And what I'm going to have you do, and I'm going to email you about this, is when you pass it and you get that email response, you're going to forward that to me, and I'm going to check you off. If you don't forward it to me and I don't check you off, then I'm going to say, what's up? And if I don't hear from you, you don't get drafted. And so all that hard work you've done is, you'll get on a crew eventually, but you really want to be on my crew. So, yeah. And then, so the 28th is the new officials draft. Where are we having the draft? Right, Westside Global Methodist Church. It's off of I-25 in Uinta. Then we have a meeting at the Westside Global Methodist Church, a physical meeting on August 4th, which is a Tuesday night. Starts at 6 o'clock, right? 6 o'clock. And we meet in person sometimes. We have a lot of online meetings. So the state hosts 5 online meetings, and we will host at least 2 online meetings, and we will have 3 in-person meetings. So if you work late, or if you have a family and you have kids that are hanging on you, and you can watch the meeting, we try to facilitate being able to get the content without having you get in your car and drive to the church every Tuesday night. We will have crew scrimmages, and I'm going to talk about some other scrimmages We have the opportunity to do Harrison High School scrimmage and Pine Creek scrimmage before the crew scrimmages start. And that's an opportunity to get you out on the field as rookies and have you do the mechanics that we teach you. So that's a valuable opportunity. On the 21st is when we have our varsity games. Typically, we have some sub-varsity, like middle school games the week before that. So about the 21st-ish is when we start officiating football. And then in early November, the season ends, and it's cold. And the season ends, and then playoffs begin. And one of the cool things about playoffs is we want you to stay connected. We want you to talk to your crew chief and say, hey, can I ride along, or can I ride, and can I be in the locker room with you and walk the sideline during your playoff game? So we have a lot of people that do that. And I'm definitely gonna invite my rookies to be involved as much as I can. And then in early December, we have championship games down at CSU Pueblo and also up at CSU. And one of the cool things about that is they ask for volunteers to help out, like run chains, to escort the teams, that kind of thing. So there's always opportunities to stay connected, always opportunities to be enthusiastic. You don't have to. This isn't about brown nosing. We don't want brown nosers. We want people who want to be involved. And if you just don't have the bandwidth to do it, that's fine. All right, we divide amongst 8 crews. I've already said that. Scott Samsel, the assigner, creates 8 equal games, or 8 equal varsity schedules, and then he populates, and we're going to talk about Arbiter in a second. He populates Arbiter with all the games, and then the crew chiefs will actually do the scheduling. So if I'm your crew chief, I look at your questionnaire, I get feedback from you, and I assign you to the games. So the crew chiefs will assign you to the games. And if you don't like me, you're going to officiate most games with members of your crew, although if you've got wonderful availability, other crews will grab you. And if you're a really good official, other crews will want to grab you. Being placed in a crew, you don't sign like a 5-year contract. So if you say, Mark Bradley's a complete idiot, I don't like him, you don't have to be on my crew the next year. So that's one of the cool things about being on a crew. All right, let's talk uniforms, and then we're going to take a break. There is a uniforms lesson on the artofofficiating.com, and you should have already watched it if you were a good person. If you're a bad person, you haven't watched it yet. But if you're a good person, you watch the video. If you haven't yet watched the video, please do. But I did want to kind of do a quick show and tell. I'm a visual learner, and I wanted to help out as much as possible because nobody did this for me. So this is, I think, the best hat to have. I think it's, by the way, don't buy fake hats. Don't buy the adjustable hat in the back. Thank you, Tim. These are Richardson hats, and this is an OFL 485. And I have a big nugget. I have a Charlie Brown kickball head, so I got the large, extra large. But I think it fits pretty nicely on my head. So this is the hat that you're going to get. I say in my video, I buy a white hat. And then when you do get that phone call at the end of the year and say, hey, can you referee? You have the white hat. But you don't have to buy the white hat. And then I bought one of these cap caddies so that my hat doesn't get crushed. Here's an example of a black shirt. You can only wear black under your stripes. Do not wear blue, do not wear gray. You may see a veteran official walk on the field with blue or gray or whatever. That's not correct. So I've got a bunch of these. And this is in no particular order, the balaclava I would highly recommend you get something like this. And if you don't, then email me after the game that you work, that is the coldest game in the history of football. And oh, by the way, it was like 60 degrees at kickoff. And then when the game ended, it was -20. And those of you that have been in Colorado know what I'm talking about. So you can't officiate if you're cold. You can't officiate if you are miserable. What I do with my long sleeve or my long pants is I get a pair of white socks, and then I get a pair of black socks, and I just wear the black over white for a little bit extra padding. You don't have to do what I do. You can do whatever you want, except wear white socks without the black. Here's my lingerie. So I would get a pair of these Under Armour shorts, so you don't chafe. Here is a thin windbreaker. And oh, by the way, there's a point in time when you want to pack your entire bag and be able to layer. So this is a Under Armour cold gear. It's average as far as windbreak. It's better than a t-shirt, but I have this. No jokes, my inseam is 29 inches, so no, this isn't a pair of shorts. This actually is a pair of pants, but the pair of pants has the white stripe. I only own one pair of pants. I have other pairs of pants, but I only use one. This is a summer weight pair of pants, and I just wear, when it's cold, I wear the Under Armour leggings. I would say you can do whatever you want, but I tried to buy the winter weight pants and I just didn't like them. So I just put the leggings, and these are good enough. And Smitty makes, so Honig, Smitty, Umpatire, you're gonna have a couple of options for pants. Here is I don't even care who this is, but here's just basically a black long sleeve. So in the wintertime, when it's cold, I basically have everything on all at the same time. And I look like the Michelin Man, but at least I'm not freezing. Here's a pair of the long sleeve stripe. And when I say sublimated flag, it's basically the flag is part of the uniform. Don't get the shirt and have the flag sewn on, because then you're gonna be, which one of these is not like the others? So, and by the way, what is the stripe size for Colorado? 2 1/4 inch stripes. Now, this is a Smitty, and what you will find is sometimes, depending on who the manufacturer is, you'll get a larger, big black patch. And when you're overweight like me, it's amplified. So the stripes are not slimming. So some of the companies, the black stripe is like an inch. So the quality control is not the greatest, but as long as you have 2 1/4 inch stripes, you're fine. Here is a copy of the summer, and it's 2 1/4 inch stripe, short sleeve, sublimated patch. Okay, the shorts. Steve, did you email me about the shorts? What, asking if a white stripe?
That was me.
Okay, Brian.
In Texas, they did the white stripe.
Yeah, if you buy shorts with a white stripe, I will laugh at you. I won't even officiate the game. I'll spend the whole game laughing at you. So, don't buy shorts with the white stripe. This is a pair of Honig's coach's shorts. I went to Kohl's and I bought a pair of black golf shorts. What do you use, Eric?
That's nice.
What do you use, Steve?
The golf shorts from Kohl's.
Yeah, just a pair of golf shorts. So it's okay, you just don't want the white stripe. And even if, let's say it's like a Under Armour and it's got a little swoosh, that's fine. But just don't, some guys go out there with like black gym shorts with a green racing stripes, Adidas. Don't do that. That's not a uniform item, all right? This is, I'm so glad that I decided to pay whatever it costs. This is a Smitty, it's 100% polyester. This has saved my life multiple times. I think you should dress to be warm, and I've gone out with this thing with the other warm clothes that I've worn, and you cannot officiate if you're cold. So this, it stretches, it's thick, and does anybody in our association wear a jacket? We used to have jackets, some people do.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah,
jacket shirt.
for me,
It's
the
like a
jacket is
polo.
hard because it goes over your belt, and it covers your flag, and it covers your beanbag. So you get to do what you want. If you buy a 2 1/4 inch jacket, knock yourself out. All right, the long toss flag. And I have augmented my flags. Some of the flags are kind of wimpy. So what I did was I took my flag apart and I put some extra BBs in there. So this thing is kind of dangerous now, but I would say you can buy a flag that has a yellow or an orange ball, but then I would want you to tape it with black electrical tape. Not the shiny electrical tape, but the subdued black. But you can buy flags that are black, and when you tuck it in your belt, you don't have any yellow showing. But this is a long toss flag. You do not want to be like Mark Bradley, the rookie, who wasn't given any instruction and bought this cloth flag with a sewn-in weight. Because this thing flies like 5 feet. What I've done though is I cut the weight out, and as my second flag, I fold it up and I put it in my pocket. So some guys are like gunfighters. They'll go double guns, right? Or they'll have them in the back. You'll figure out what's comfortable for you, and you'll put the flags where you want to put them. I only wear one flag, and then I put the other flag in my pocket. But you'll figure out what's comfortable for you, but look for the long toss flag or the long throw flag. Do not get another flag, because you'll throw it as hard as you can and it'll go 10 yards. So get the long toss flag. Here is a copy, and this is from Honig's. You will have a play card, and oh, by the way, as a rookie, you don't get an excuse to not walk on the field without all your gear. I've seen rookies say, I don't need a play card, I'm new, I don't need to write anything down. The veterans will take care of it. No, you need to be a full up round as a brand new official. So I've had this since 2007. I went on Amazon and I got these tiny little pens. They also have cards, they're plastic cards that you can use what do you call it, grease pencil, is that what you said? You can use a grease pencil. It was too sloppy. The only limb fact with this paper is if it's pouring down rain, but I very rarely, if ever, have had that issue. So I have cards on the Art of Officiating website, or you can email me. I can email you a copy of this card that I use. You can design your own card, and if you do, send me a copy because I might use it myself. But you want to have this, and you want to write everything down. You want to write down coaches' names, ball boy names, chain crew names, who won the coin toss and what did they elect. At the end of the quarter, where was the clip, where was the ball, where was the chains, what are the scores. You want to be the one writing it down. Because that one time in a million, when everybody screws up, you haven't screwed up, and you're the one who does the crew save. I love these gloves. I brought them to show you. I found these. I don't even know what company this is. These are the greatest gloves. Some people will take latex gloves and put them on their hands. What I do is I will walk around the field, and when a player drops a hand warmer, I steal it. So I'll take it and put it in my pocket, I won't give it back, and then I'll put them in my own gloves. But I found that these gloves are really, really comfortable. You want thick gloves, but they can't be so thick that you're walking around with a football like this. So you've gotta have the is it acuteness or whatever with the hands?
Dexterity.
Dexterity, thank you. Dean is normally my thesaurus. Right. Okay. Belt. I bought this belt in 2007 and I still use it. Buy a belt and wear the freaking belt. We've had officials walk on the field without a belt. And number one, how do you tuck your flag in your beanbag? But you want a nice belt. And you can tell that I've gained and lost weight over the years.
Matte or high gloss?
Don't do high, I mean, my opinion is don't do high gloss, buy matte. What is your opinion?
I don't think it matters.
Tim, if you're on Tim's crew, you don't even have to wear a uniform. No.
I need a bell.
Right. Okay, you must buy a Fox 40 whistle with a rubber mouth guard. You can buy one without a rubber mouth guard and your teeth are going to be on plastic. So buy it with a rubber mouth guard. Now, the difference between a lanyard whistle and a finger whistle is your preference. There are great officials that wear a finger whistle. I did it probably for the first 6 or 7, 8 years of my career, and then I went to a lanyard. The thing about a finger whistle is you don't have to worry about practicing grabbing the whistle to put it in your mouth, but you don't want to do one-handed signals. So you'll see what is that?
Half a touchdown.
Yeah, good. They only get 3 points and not 6. Or one official wanted to signal that the ball was downed on the 1 yard line after a scrimmage kick, and he did this. What's this? A touchback. Well, if he would have used his other hand, he would have done this, which is stop the clock. And so it looked like he was signaling touchback. And then he spotted the ball on the 1 yard line. It's like, dude, what are you doing? And you'll see people do this. So if you use a finger whistle, be disciplined enough to blow your whistle, pull it out of your mouth, and then give a good 2-hand. So you get to choose. Don't do what I do just because I say I do it. You do what makes you feel comfortable. I was a basketball official for a while, and I really liked this choke chain. So I buy the one with the choke chain. You put it. I'm not going to put it on my head because I won't get it off. And then I had to practice. I practiced grabbing the whistle, putting it in my mouth. If you're a wing, I guess I will put it on my head. If you're a wing, you're standing on the sideline. You can let the whistle go. Don't be the guy who holds it in your hand all the time. It's got a lanyard, right? And the player comes to the line, you say, 88, I've got you on the line. Ball, the snap is imminent. Snap goes off, I spit it out. I run and I officiate the play, and if I'm the covering official and I'm going to blow the whistle, I then grab it and I put it in my mouth to blow the whistle. That takes practice. And it's the ugly duckling syndrome. It just takes practice. So you get to decide if you do a lanyard or if you do a finger whistle. Okay, I have a second set of gloves. I would recommend you buy at least a blue and a black beanbag. I know if you're on Tim's crew, you go blue. Randy, you go blue or black?
It doesn't matter.
Okay. So if you're on Randy's
He
crew,
does the Archies.
you can wear flip-flops if you want. No, but I like the blue beanbag. I think it looks sharp. If you're a back judge, you carry 2 colors. And by the way, if you would like, and I'll just put these out and you can take, Mark Van Gampler is one of our crew chiefs and he was my mentor. And these are his beanbags. They say MEV and Bird. His nickname is Bird. And you can take a Mark Van Gampler beanbag. You don't even have to use it. You can take it and put it on the desk and genuflect. Because he's probably our number one official right now. I wouldn't say probably, he is. So he wanted to donate. I would not use this on the field. So you can throw this at your kids. All right. So I would grab at least a blue and a black, and if you want to get a white, that's fine. And then don't wear it on your belt with the label facing out. That's just a pet peeve of mine. Label faces in. Okay, almost done. Here is the down indicator. So you're going to buy, I would buy 2 of everything because one of your crew partners is not going to remember. And so you loan them and you actually rent. So you make them pay you their game fee to rent the material. So this is the down indicator. It goes on your wrist. First down, second down, third down, fourth down. And again, it'll be awkward at first. So you're going to get into a routine. And if it's first down, the runner gains 2 yards and you square off and you come onto the field and you say, Randy, we're playing 2, and then you take your indicator and you put it on second down. In that way, when Mark Bradley goes, dang it, what down is it? You say it's second down. This is fourth down on your wrist. So this is the down indicator. And then the final piece of equipment is your clip for the chains. When I first purchased, nobody told me what to do, so I purchased the plastic round clip, which if they have a clip on the chains at the school, then you're running around with a plastic in your pocket the whole time. So I like the cloth. We never ever use this. I very rarely see people use this to indicate the yard line. And then what I also do is I have a small carabiner that I put, so if I'm the linesman, I put the carabiner in my pocket, I hand this to the chain crew, and we'll teach you how to use the clip. And then the carabiner is when you change sides, I take the carabiner and I put it on the chain to indicate where the box is. And that way, if we lose track, the box person knows, put it where the carabiner is. Okay? Any questions about gear? By the way,
I just
Good.
recommend if you're buying pants for the first time, they usually come unhemmed, that you gotta take them to an alterations place. Alterations places sometimes take a week or 2 to get it done, so give yourself a little lead time.
right, and my wife does alterations, $200. I just decided the cost.
Is that for life or?
No, if you're hurting and you need an alteration, you call me and my wife will do it. But Honig's up in Denver will do it on the spot.
I think it's only Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays.
Say it again?
I think only Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays.
Yeah, you were the one who told us.
Yeah.
So,
I still
Hey,
think-
Mark, did we go over shoes as far as?
oh, yeah, so the shoes have to be mostly black.
White sole, okay?
Randy, you're the crew chief. Is that acceptable?
Yes.
Okay. Tim, is that acceptable?
It's like, you know, man.
Acceptable, yes, not ideal.
Yeah.
Right.
Use a black marker.
Well, that kind of sometimes looks ugly if you do that.
Okay, but the light's going to hit it.
I think I've kind of evolved as a crew chief to be a lot more permissive. So if this was your pair of shoes, I would say yes. If I just bought another pair of Hokas, I love Hokas, and I was pleased to see that they have all black Hokas now. So I bought a pair of all black Hokas. Did that answer?
It's all black is the preference.
All black preference, some black, all
Everyone-
white?
Everyone will be okay with all
All
Yes.
black is
Some will be
preferred.
okay with white
Yeah.
sole, everyone will be
Yeah.
okay with all black.
Do they need to be cleats? Or
No, I would say don't get cleats, because most of our fields are turf. And this, if I wore these on grass, I do just fine. Yeah. This game was a week 0 game. Cherry Creek came down to play Palmer, or Doherty. I think it was Doherty. It was like 150 degrees, and I was about ready to pass out, and this is the coin toss. Then, this is Cherry Creek, that's Dave Logan, and we're doing a playoff game, and while the ball was live, there were people on the field shoveling the yard lines on the other side of the field. So you will have extremes. If you're not familiar with Colorado weather, I will warn you to be prepared to be freezing cold. I had a pair of Redhead gloves. I still have them. That's another brand. They're called Redhead, and they were really warm as well. All right, any questions about uniforms? So I would say, go ahead, Eric.
I was just say, as you're getting your new flags, beanbags, clips in particular, not a bad idea to initial them, that they're yours. Even when we do mechanics training in a couple weeks, I'm gonna have you throwing flags as a group if you want your stuff back. It does help to indicate that it's yours, so.
Good.
That's kind of
And oh, by the way, in my video, I do say, shop around. Go to Honig's, go to Umpa Tire. On the website, there is a document that is a recommended equipment and uniform document on my website. And it also has things like aspirin and sunscreen and that kind of thing. But there are some websites, and then on the CSFOA website that we will show you, there is also a list of equipment providers. So I would say shop around, and they also do packages where you can pick and choose the items to put into a package. So you might buy a shirt from Umpa Tire and pants from Honig's and a flag from another provider. That's what I would do. Or you could buy everything from one provider.
If you're military, there's several scholarships out there too that will pay for all your gear, or a base kit. So you get your pants, your
Yeah.
jacks, your shirts, you know. It's b2b.com, I believe.
Battlefields to ball fields.
Yeah.
Mark, are we using white hats for sub-varsity games at all? No?
White hats.
Yeah, for the.
Only the referee.
Only the referee, yeah. And then ask your crew chief about sunglasses.
But so referee in sub-varsity is wearing a white hat?
Yes,
Okay.
yep. Ask your crew chief about sunglasses.
Ball field.
For me, if it's a sub-varsity game, I allow sunglasses. I do not allow sunglasses on the varsity field. What do you do?
No sunglasses,
Ever?
ever. Because I don't want it on varsity, and to me, sub-varsity is practice for varsity.
Okay, so
So-
you
so
allow
get used-
flip-flops, but not sunglasses.
Exactly. Yeah.
So Tim has taught me a lot, and I have changed, so I like that, and I may adopt that myself. I love what he just said. Randy, do you do some? I mean, after what Tim said, do you want to even answer that question?
I only allow sunglasses if they're matte.
Okay, are you ready to get on to Arbiter?
Oh, yeah.
So I'm gonna do a quick Arbiter demo just to give you a little bit of, just a tiny little demo about Arbiter. Arbiter is, Monica is gonna send you an email. Monica's from CHASA, she's the football secretary. She is going to invite you to the CHASA group. If you are already an Arbiter with another sport or even another state, you still need to accept the invitation to be in the group. If you're not an Arbiter, you'll get an Arbiter, you do the login and password, and then you'll get into the group. And what we do in Arbiter is we pay our CFOA and our CHASA dues, and we also do our scheduling, we do blocks, we do a lot of our assigning and scheduling functions in Arbiter. So here's an example of Arbiter. What we're gonna do is when we log in, and I will continue to remind you about this, is can you also bring up the CSFOA
Yep.
website, please?
It's already up there.
So this is our website. This is the website Randy put together. And it's the csfootballofficials.com. csfootballofficials.com is our website. Under resources is a whole list of links. And one of the links is Arbiter Getting Started. So Arbiter Getting Started, when you get Monica's invitation, if you go to the csfootballofficials.com, you go to resources and you click on Arbiter Getting Started, those are links to Arbiter, and they do a really good job with helping the customer. It will teach you how to go through, update your profile in Arbiter, and one of the things about your profile is you need to put your address in so that Arbiter knows where you live, because you can literally not be assigned any games if you don't have an address in Arbiter. And then you click Ready to be assigned. You also do something called Arbiter Pay. And Arbiter Pay is where you link your bank account to Arbiter, so that when you officiate a game, the schools will then put money for you in Arbiter Pay, and you click on Arbiter Pay and you put your 4-digit PIN in and you send the money off to your bank. And it's like 4 clicks. You need to, right now, if you're not taking notes, take notes. csfootballofficials.com and Arbiter Getting Started. And what do you do if you just brain fart and you don't know how to do any of this? What do? Email me and say, Mark, I brain farted, I'm sorry, I need you to hold my hand. And I would be happy to do that, after talking to my wife about you. No, I'm just kidding. All right. This also has, and thank you to Randy, this has links to Cliff Keen and Honig's and Purchase Officials and all the different places that you can go to do your uniform shopping. It's got my Art of Officiating website. You should actually just have that tattooed somewhere on your body. And then a lot of others. So if you do snooping around and you just kind of see what we have to offer on the website, this is a really good website. So let's go back to Arbiter. So Tim has his picture. I always like to have you to put a nice picture up there, because if I meet you on the football field, I know you're an official because you're wearing stripes, unless it's Halloween. But it's nice so that your crewmates can see what you look like, so that they can walk up and shake your hand and welcome you. This thing called Blocks, Tim, if you can click on Blocks, and you're gonna go through, and your crew chief will remind you about this, is you have an opportunity to basically tell your crew chief through Blocks when you are not available to officiate. So you can block an entire day, or you can block a part of the day. And if you're on my crew, I'm gonna have you give me your availability, but I'm also gonna want you to block in Arbiter. If you block a day and I want to assign you, your name doesn't even show up, which is great. Your name doesn't show up. If I assign you a game and you decline it, and you say, I'm sorry, I'm out of town, I'll say, Steve, why did you not block it in Arbiter? I already asked you to do that 4 times, that kind of behavior, right? So you can block part day, you can block time. So if you work down at Fountain Fort Carson area and your crew chief wants to have you work a game at TCA, the Classical Academy up north, you can put a block in and say, I'm just not available until this specific time. And your block should include an average travel time. You don't know that he's gonna assign you to TCA, but if you get off work at 2 or 2:30, or if your boss can let you get off at 2:30, you want to block until, say, 3 or 3:30. And that way your crew, like, let's say 3:15, and that way your crew chief can assign you to a 3:30 game, but not a 3 o'clock game, okay? Payments, that's where we have arbiter pay. So you're gonna wanna set up an arbiter pay, and obviously Tim has a zero balance because he's already transferred all of his money. It's super easy. It'll show up as a transaction line, and it'll say, you worked this game, there's $70 in your account, and you click transfer money, you put your PIN in, you've already linked your bank account, and it's so simple. It's great. And then at the schedule side, this is where you are gonna receive, you'll receive an email from your crew chief, and it'll say, you have new assignments. And you can either accept or decline from the website or from the email, or this is a history of games that Tim has worked. And notice over here it says past. So you can toggle this to future. And then when you get an assignment, you can accept or decline. And if you decline it, it'll ask you for a reason. If you're on my crew, just say, just because. You don't have to explain yourself if you want to decline an assignment. You know, I'm washing my cat is fine. You don't have to prove yourself to anybody. And you can decline a bunch of games if you want. You won't get better if you don't see snaps, but you don't owe anybody anything. I just want to make that very clear. So if you do future, Tim's not going to have any games for future.
I can't see through you.
I'm sorry?
I can't see through
Tim
you.
can't? No.
Which one's future? Is that
Yeah,
future?
future. So it will show up. Apply filter, yeah. It'll show up with all of the information, and you'll get the assignment, what position you've been assigned to, and you'll typically work linesman or line judge. Don't be quick to work in the middle unless you're a veteran. We want you on the wing. We want you to work the sideline in front of the coaches. Unless you say, I will only work umpire only, we don't want you there yet. Okay? All right. Anything else I need to talk about with arbiter? Just make sure that when you get that assignment from Monica, and I'm going to send you out an email because I'm going to over communicate, and I'm going to say, you should have received an email from Monica. If you haven't, let me know. And then you accept the invitation, you get into arbiter, and then for those of you that want to do battlefields to ball fields, you need to pay your money immediately to get the receipt so you can get reimbursed, correct? Okay, so you owe me, if you don't get something from Monica by Friday, somebody needs to email me. All right,
Just
go.
for your
Lists it all.
functionality awareness, if you do get offered a game or scheduled a game that you decline for a certain day, arbiter will block that day. If you decline it, then you cannot take that block off. So just FYI, if you're like, I don't want to go to TCA on that day, and you turn back in, it will put a hard block on that whole
Right.
day.
and
Your
just for the mic,
previous
can the mic pick up what he just said?
Uh,
What Eric said in the back was, if you decline a game, it'll block you for that day. Now, if you decline it and then you change your mind 5 minutes later, just send a note to your crew chief, who can send a note to Scott Samsel, who has godlike privileges, who can then unblock you and you can get an assignment. Okay, can we go back to the slides,
do you
please?
care about lists? at all?
Oh, lists. Thank you for saying that. This is where if you need to contact somebody or know, who's who in the zoo, this list is an alphabetized list of our association plus Pueblo plus Arkansas Valley plus maybe Lamar, I don't know, but it's not just Colorado Springs. So you can click on alphabetical order, and then you can find a person and you can click on them. And then if they've activated their address, you'll see what their physical address is. Could you click on my name real quick?
Yeah,
I
can't
did a
prove it.
ChatGPT picture just to let you know. So you see my picture, it's gonna look really, really cool. Because I wanted to look really cool in Arbiter.
Can't tell if it's.
Those are the first page.
Was it on the first page?
First page.
Those are above the second set of yellows.
Why was it yellow? Is that because you
No,
don't
second
like
is-
me?
right there.
Oh, yeah.
Right here?
Yep. Is that a cool ChatGPT picture? That's wicked cool, I think. Maybe you're shaking your head, man. What's wrong? All right. I think that is a sexy looking man. All right, so you're gonna have your address, your phone number, your email, and then the crew that you're on, and your beautiful picture that is ChatGPT enabled, or, so you look sexy like me. And that way, I can find you if I need you. Okay? All right, now let's go back to the slides. I don't know how in the world we can be better than that, but.
One final thing on Arbiter too, there is also an app for your phone. It is not the most robust thing for doing locks and payments and things of that nature, but super handy if you want to pull up your assignment for the day, where you're going, game time, location. It's also got like one button to send text or calls to your crewmates assigned to that. So if you're like, where are you, or I'm running late or anything like that, and you don't have your crew saved as a contact, super easy way to let them know what's up.
So Eric was talking about an app you can download on your phone. I didn't even know about that, notifying your crew. Yes, sir.
Is there any sort of policy for sub-varsity, like, let's say I'm not scheduled for a day,
Yep.
and I've got my bag in my car,
Great question.
and if somebody doesn't show up, and then it's a no-call, no-show,
Yep.
and you jump on the field, and now that game is yours?
Yep. So Scott Sansel is our assigner. And if I were you, this is what I would do, is I would send a note to Scott and say, hey, I'm a realtor, I'm self-employed, I'm retired. I've got my bag all the time. If you need somebody, you come looking for me first. Do the same for your crew chief. There's a way, can you go back to Arbiter real quick? Sorry, Tim. There's a way to look at the master schedule. And so, man, you don't want to click away from this picture though.
No, I'm going to put that on my wall, actually.
Okay, so if you go to schedule, and I'd write this down, don't forget this, and click on master schedule, and then you can click on view slots. So here's the view slots, and it will show the games. And if there's a game, now I'm not saying be a pest, but if I were you, I would go and I'd look around, and it won't show up with a name in the slot if there's an assignment and that official has not yet accepted it, the slot will be open. But if you're on my crew, and I'm sure these two will say the same, there's nothing wrong with emailing your crew chief going, hey, I'm available. I noticed that this, and Dean was really good at that. I can work the Thursday game. If you need somebody, I'd like to do it. So be proactive. This is how you view the slot. So we already see that on the 21st of August, you can go out to South Park with Tim's crew. All right, thank you, Tim. So that's view slots to see the master schedule.
Do the Arbiter assignments include AD and coach contact info? Or do you have to hunt that down?
So when your white hat's going to do that, there will be a school, and it will have a link, and when you click on the school, it'll show contact info. We tell our referees to contact the school at least 3 days in advance, and I want my referees to contact the crew at least 2 days in advance to say, hey, we have a game, we're going to wear this uniform, this is where we're going to meet if we go out of town, etc. And a lot of the schools don't do a good job identifying themselves. So it's like, yeah, that guy's been gone for 20 years ago. The max preps also, and then a lot of guys will just go to the school's website, and you can find anything on the internet, right? The source of all knowledge. So there is a way, and then I actually picked the phone up and said, Arbiter doesn't work. Yeah, phone call. Arbiter doesn't work. Do you guys still have a football game because your class schedule says you don't, and my arbiter says you do? And we've had some epic screw-ups where folks go to a game and they say, no, our team went down to Pueblo to play.
Or a whole nother crew shows up, right, Randy?
Yeah.
And you
Okay.
drove- And you drove to Denver.
So, arbiter getting started, please note that. And so that you have everything you need to get into Arbiter, put your profile in. I'm gonna send your name and contact information to Monica, and I'll try to do it tonight, okay? And I'm looking at you two guys, I'm eyeballing you guys. I need to make sure I get feedback. She will enroll you in Arbiter if she's around. You'll receive the welcome email. You will also receive instructions for paying. If you want to pay right away, pay right away. If you want to wait, you have all the way up until the 27th of July to pay. But you need to be paid to be able to be on the draft list. So it's okay to pay right away. If you pay and then you make it, and then you change your mind about officiating, I don't know, we could probably try to get your money back from CHASA and CFOA successfully, but it'll just take a little while to do it. If you have any issues, what do?
Call you.
Don't call me. Email me. I will ignore your phone call. Email me or text me. The $97 includes a background check that you're going to fill out, background check information. It also includes insurance, and if you've already officiated other sports in Colorado, you don't need to do the background check. And it also includes an arbiter fee. So there are some fees built into what you are paying. And then you also have to pay for all the area directors like Randy to go on their junkets to Cancun, that kind of thing. All right. Fill out all profile information, register for Arbiter. All right, we're gonna pivot. Here's a pivot. Here's a break in our mindset. The rest of this class, we're gonna start talking about being a good football official. The previous was housekeeping, how to be successful. If you have any questions, please reach out to me. I hate it when there's confusion, because then you feel anxious maybe because there's confusion and you don't know, but you feel embarrassed. Don't be embarrassed to contact me. 100 times I'm inviting you to contact me because I want you to be successful. And you can't be successful if you don't know what to do, and I want you to reach out to me so that I can help you be successful. Rules knowledge. Must you be 100% full up rules expert? Yes. Yes, you must. Will you be? No. So I'm being duplistic, but the expectation is you get smarter than anybody. You're the smartest guy in the room. Don't give yourself permission to be mediocre. And high school football officials give themselves permission to be mediocre. Nobody in this room should do that. Please. By the way, somebody in this room is going to replace Randy. Somebody in this room is going to replace me, Dean, Tim. You're going to replace us. Eric will never be replaced. He's irreplaceable. Eric's going to go off to college or the NFL. That's the only reason we're going to replace him. But somebody in this room is going to officiate a state championship game. So you want to have that mindset that the only difference between me and you is I look much better on Arbiter. That's number one. But number two is I get to do this 19 years ago. And you're doing it now. That's the only difference. So we will not hold anything over your head and say, how dare you, because I promise you I've made every mistake multiple times. Everybody has stories. And so please have the confidence to to walk on the football field and be an adult learner and be coachable and teachable, because people will come up to you with advice all the time. And if I'm your crew chief, I'm gonna tell you, I want your touchdown signal to be up here and not here. I'm gonna be that nitpicky. And I know the other crew chiefs are gonna do the same. They want you to be good. So, rules knowledge is where you start. You cannot be an arbiter of the game if you don't even know the rules. You can't decide if something's a foul if you don't even know what the rules book says. Mechanics knowledge, you all have a mechanics manual. A lot of this is 5-person mechanics. Unless you are working a varsity game, you don't have to worry about 5-person mechanics, but there is so much goodness in here about how to communicate with coaches, how to throw your flag, how to throw your beanbag, what to do in the locker room. There's so much goodness. It's not just 5-person mechanics, where, you know, who are my keys if I have motion into trips. That's not the golden nugget of this book. The golden nugget of this book is I would read through this book, highlight it, and ask questions if you have any questions. Go into this book in detail. I mean, be a voracious learner of your craft, and be the guy who knows the answer to the question. So mechanics knowledge is how to stand, how to look, where to look, who are your keys, how to signal touchdown, you know, when to throw your beanbag, all that kind of thing. Everybody has different judgment. Tim and I have argued, respectfully argued, for the most part, because I think differently than Tim does. I think differently than Randy and Dean. And officiating is a human endeavor. We're all going to think differently. But your judgment has to be informed by your knowledge of the rules, and you don't want to be an outlier, right? You don't want to be 100 people over here saying something and I'm on this island of one and I'm confident. Well, no, you better walk over there if 100 people say something. But judgment, everybody has a different judgment. You know, some people say, what you permit, you promote, which I hate that saying, because I don't want law enforcement to stop me for going 1 mile an hour over the speed limit. And on this side of the spectrum is, hey, just let them play. You've got to be somewhere between those two extremes, and everybody in this room is going to be different. So you develop judgment by seeing snaps, by the way. Communication, if you are a hothead and you are easily offended and you argue easily, walk out of this room and never come back. And I'm saying that seriously. If you have thin skin and you're going to get into a pissing contest, you do not belong as a football official. We're like Chick-fil-A employees. Seriously. We're like a good law enforcement where somebody is screaming and calling us names and we're still respectful. So we facilitate the game by being polite, but also by being firm and knowing the rules and adjudicating that play properly. Have you ever been in a group where there's a butthole, a butthead, a bad person who ruins it for everybody? Anybody? Yeah. You're going to have that in our association. It's probably me. But there are some officials who just, you know, it's hard to be around them. You don't want to be that guy. You want to be the guy that when you show up, you get a big hug versus, you know, dang it, I've got to be on the game with this guy. And I will confess, there are people that I just don't want to be on a game with them. So how you interact with fellow officials and your fitness. I don't see anybody in here that's out of shape like me, so that's good. If you can beat me in a foot race, then you're good to go. But start working on your fitness now. Start working on your agility, stretch. You know, you got to be able to bend over and pick up a football without snapping your back. You gotta get to the goal line ahead of the runner. Some of us are old, right? If we have gray, some of us are old. But be fit. Okay, how many legs is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, at least 6 legs. I know there are other components as well. Football officiating is like a language, and there is a vocabulary, and it's important to know the vocabulary because as we talk about football plays, I'm going to start using acronyms, I'm going to start using letters and numbers, and one of the rules is if I say something and you don't know, put your paw in the air and say, stop. What did you just say? And if you have the confidence to do that, I guarantee about half of the people in the room are going to be saying, thank God, I have the same question. All right? So somebody be confident enough to go, wait a minute, hold on, what did you just say? And it's probably because I made a mistake. I misspoke. So just have that mindset. So the referee, we call him the R or the white hat. The linesman or the head linesman, same thing. Also called a wing. So the 2 wing officials are the linesman or the line judge, and that's what you're going to be when we start officiating football for the most part. The linesman is on the visitor side with the chains. And we're going to talk about chains, and if you're going to be a linesman on a sub-varsity game, you're going to probably have a chain crew that's not super savvy, maybe some younger kids, and it's going to be a struggle. So you want to know how to work the chains really well before you hit the field. The line judge, this is the cushiest job, in my opinion, because you're facing the chains. And the linesmen, when you square off, you got the chains behind you, you've got to know where the line to gain is. The line judge, you see it right in front of you. So whenever I, as a crew chief, assigned myself to the wing, I always made myself the line judge. Dean is my linesman this year because he's smart. All right, the umpire is in the middle. You may work a game with only 3 people. If you work I don't know if we have any lower level Parks and Rec, so we're gonna have 4 people on pretty much every game.
Park and Rec will have third and fourth.
They will? Yeah, so you may work a 3-person game. When I started, we actually had intramurals where you worked 2-person game, and that sucked. So at least you have 3 people, you have a referee and 2 wings. The umpire is in the middle, spots the ball most of the time, and then the back judge is not present. I need to take this out because this isn't a Parks and Rec lesson. But
You just put not
some
present.
crews, say again, Dean?
It just changes to not present in most sub-varsity.
Right. Some crews will have a 5-person game in sub-varsity, and so instead of getting like $70 a piece, you split it 5 ways instead of 4 ways. So whatever 280 divided by 5 is, Dean, you can do that right away. You share some of the money sometimes, and you have an extra person on the game, but everybody has to agree to it. So this is really important. Hopefully you already know this because you've watched the videos online. The rules book, the case book, will use A and B for a scrimmage down that does not include a kick. So if it's 1st and 10 from the 40 or from the 20-yard line, the team that snaps the ball is team A, and the team on defense is team B. If there is a kick involved, then it's team K and team R for kicking and receiving. And then for the yard line, we use A, B, K, and R with a dash. So if the player on offense is number 12, that player would be A12. If the player on defense is number 30, that player is B30. If a kicker is number 11, that player is K11. And if the receiver a player on a receiving team is number 55, it's R55 with no dash. If we're talking about a yard line, like if the ball is kicked from the 20-yard line and there's 80 yards to go for a touchdown and the ball is snapped on the 20, we will say 4th and 5 from the K-20. So the K means it's the kicker side of the field. And if the ball is snapped on the receiver, so let's say they want to kick the ball, they want to punt the ball, and it's on the 49-yard line, and you've already crossed midfield and it's on the 49, then we will say that the ball is snapped on the R-49. If it was snapped on the kicker side, 2 yards behind that, it would be the K-49. So if I snap the ball on the A1, how many yards do I need to go for a touchdown? 99 yards. And if I snap the ball on the B1, how many yards do I need to go for a touchdown? 1 yard. When you take your test, it's hard sometimes to visualize when you're reading on paper, 3rd and 5 from the A35. A12 takes the handoff and pitches the ball to A33, who fumbles at the A47, and the ball goes out of bounds at the B45. And you're like, dang it, I have no idea what I just read. But that's the kind of question you might see. And just get into this habit of A, B, K, R. If the team is in a scrimmage kick formation and then they fake it, or there's a fire and they end up not kicking the ball, you will often see A or B instead of K or R. But if you see K or R, it just means that the person said they're in a scrimmage kick formation and just do the best you can. Does that make sense? Okay. We say a ball is live. The ball is not alive. The ball is live following a snap or a free kick. What's another word for a free kick?
Punt.
Not a punt.
Kickoff.
Kickoff. So a free kick is also known as a kickoff, and you'll see both of those terms in the rules book. A scrimmage kick is either a punt or field goal attempt or a drop kick, which I've never seen. We'll never see. Doug Flutie, yeah. So the ball is live. The ball is live when the ball is kicked off or free kick, that's synonymous, or the ball is snapped. And it's live until the ball is dead by rule. And we're going to talk about in Rule 4, we're going to talk about all the ways that the ball is dead by rule, including the runner's helmet comes off. Yes, sir.
You said a scrimmage kick was a punt or a field goal?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Or a drop.
Yeah, don't write that. Yeah, I was being stupid when I said that. Now, this is where we make our money, and we're going to talk, and I'm going to say this 1,000 times, is be a good dead ball official. If you think about in a baseball game, of the 2.5-hour baseball game, the amount of time that the ball is actually in play, is it in play when the pitcher pitches it?
Yes.
Yeah, so as soon as the ball leaves the pitcher's hands until the umpire says time is what, like 7 minutes out of 2.5 hours in baseball? The same concept kind of sort of applies in football, where most of the time the ball is dead and we have to pay attention. We can't not pay attention is a double negative. We have to pay attention. So the ball, after the ball is dead by rule, until it becomes live again with a snap or a free kick, is all dead ball. And this is where most of the buffoonery happens, is dead ball. So we say, be a good dead ball official, and you're going to hear us say that over and over again. This is a Colorado thing. So Tim, I don't know if you use this, or Brian, if you use this. is the ball that is gonna be next snapped or free kicked, we call that the clean ball. We bring that ball onto the field because the team that next snaps the ball, they want their football, so we call that a clean ball. Hey, give me a clean ball. If it's fourth down and the team either punts it away and Team R catches it and we kill it, we get that ball off of the field because that ball is no longer going to be used. We call that a dirty ball. So if you hear, that's a dirty ball, we get it off the field. If you hear, get me a clean ball, that's, you go to your ball person and you go, hey, Joey, clean ball, get it onto the field, spot it, and let's play football. Okay?
Hey, Mark, I don't mean to go the other route.
No, please.
I've been in this situation. I want to know what you want the officials to do. If it's sub-VAR and there are 2 no-call, no-shows, and there are only 2 officials.
Right.
You want us to officiate, and if so, who's where? Like,
Okay,
you
so
want
the
to-
question was,
judge
if we only have 2 officials, and oh, by the way, that's never gonna happen in Colorado Springs because Randy's in charge.
I've had it happen, it sucks.
Yeah, and I told this to Tim on the phone, I think we have a great association, and for the most part, you're gonna have a couple outliers, but I have never had, I've officiated a 2-person game in intramurals back in 2008. You will have at least 3, if not 4, but to answer your question, it's up to the white hat. If I was the white hat, I would say one person is a wing, and I'm the referee, and I'm gonna be as close to being another wing as possible. But if I will give you a $10 bill if that ever happens to you.
I hope it never does.
Yeah.
It has, it sucks.
Question?
Yes,
So, the last slide, the clean ball, dirty ball,
yes.
do you physically wanna get rid of the ball until you have the next ball? Or just wait until you, because sometimes before, we never got a next ball, and we said, we're playing, we can't wait for 5 minutes.
So the clock is stopped, the ball is dead. I'm an activator, I wanna go fast. I have to train myself not to go fast. I can't be, who's that guy, wanna go fast?
Ricky Bobby.
Ricky Bobby. I can't be Ricky Bobby because you screw up. So the clock is stopped. If you can't find a clean ball, just find a clean ball. Don't ever say, no, if you can't get a ball in the field, we're using the other team's ball, dang it. Because then that's ill will, right? So I would just say, hey, go find your ball.
Yep.
You won't have that problem in varsity. You'll very rarely have that problem in C squad or JV. You might find the problem in middle school, and sometimes they'll use the same football because they don't have one, or the one they have is not good. Tim, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, just contextually here, we're talking about a change of possession more times than not. There are other situations where you could have a clean ball, dirty ball, and it's not a change of possession. But typically, we're talking about a new team is on offense, and we want them to use their ball. So we're really just getting rid of one team's ball so we can put the other team's ball on.
Yeah.
More often than not.
Thank you for
So-
saying that much better than I did. Okay. We've already talked about this. We've already talked about this. Free kick. I'm sorry. I need to. They can't see me point if they're watching the video.
Yeah, that's
The
true.
free kick, also known as the kickoff, it's interchangeable. Scrimmage kick is a punt or field goal. And then following a score, we have something called a try. The ball is snapped on the 3-yard line. And if the team scores a touchdown, it equals 2 points. And if the team kicks a field goal, it equals 1 point. So that's called a try. When we say ready for play, and this is important, the ball is marked ready for play either with a referee's whistle, makes it ready for play, or because we have gone to a 40-second play clock, we did that quite a few years ago, when the ball is put on the field between the hash marks by a football official, most likely the umpire, and by rule, that official backs out to their position, the ball is marked ready for play. and the team A or team K can snap the ball. Following a kickoff, the ball goes into the end zone. That ball is dirty. We get a clean ball. It's spotted on the 20-yard line. Everybody's in position. I'm 12 yards away from the ball, and I blow a ready for play. And now the ball can be snapped. The runner gains 2 yards, is down on the what yard line?
8:22.
The A22. And the wings get forward progress, square off, and do their thing, and the umpire takes the ball and puts it down and backs up. It is now marked ready for play. So that is the definition of ready for play. LOS, line of scrimmage, LTD, line to gain. The forward progress and the location of the line to gain, the rules book says every team gets 4 downs to go 10 yards. That forward stake or the forward stick on the chain is the line to gain. So if the ball snapped on the A20, the line to gain is the A30. The nose of the ball has to reach the A30 to earn another set of 4 downs. When we say line to gain, that means where does the ball need to go to reach that 10 yards from the original spot. So the team, if the ball snapped on the A20 and they lose 10 yards and they're now snapping it on the A10, the line to gain is still the A30. Now they have to go 20 yards instead of just 10.
Double sticks.
OOB out of bounds, goal line, end zone, and then forward progress. And we are going to hammer the crap out of the concept of forward progress because, and I'm going to use his name now, we had a football official, some of you may know this name, he was a beloved track and field, basketball, and football official, lived in Callahan, his name was Ray Lutz. If you go on my website, you go to the bottom, there is a tribute to Ray Lutz, who is my football grandfather. My football father is Mark Van Gampelier, owner of these beanbags, and his father is Ray Lutz. And Ray Lutz is one of the most influential football officials in Colorado. And his quote was, one of the most important products of a wing official is forward progress. Or to say it differently, forward progress is the wing's most important product. Getting forward progress, meaning the nose of the football when the ball is dead by rule. And so as a wing official, you are going to learn how to be excellent at getting forward progress. Let's take a quick look, and oh, by the way, I went on the NFHA's website yesterday and they still don't have a picture of the 2026 rules book. So it's not my fault. I want you to be a rules expert because you are going to be on the sideline. And the coach is not going to be talking to the referee and asking questions about the rules. The coach is going to be talking to you. And I have a lesson called Communicating with Coaches, Parents, and Players. I recommend you watch that. But you will have a coach ask you a rule, and you may not know the answer. And it's okay to say, Coach, that's a great question. I don't know the answer. I will get you the answer as soon as I can. You don't want to say that 80 times a game. So yes, you do have permission to not know the rules. Well, but I'm not going to give you that permission. I want you to be the rules expert. So you're going to be on the sideline. The crew succeeds or fails as a crew. And there have been a lot of crew saves by rookie officials, especially if Eric is on the field. We want you to work hard on knowing the rules. It's difficult to know the rules, and I want to be your point of contact if you have questions. If you buy me lunch, like I used to buy Mark Van Gampelier lunch all the time, but I'd love to sit down with you over lunch and have a conversation about rules. And this next man up, those of you that are in the military, next man up, man. If you're a squad leader, or the squad leader goes down, the fire team leader steps in, right? So you always want to be ready to step into a position, and you never want to say, and we have officials like this, no, I don't want to ever be a referee. No, I don't ever want to work anything but the wing. Have that next man up mentality, and one of the things is it's great to know what the other people on your crew are doing when you're doing your job. So I would love you to be a rules expert as quickly as you possibly can. We talked about the Reading Study Guide. I think we are so blessed to have this thing, and please don't let this collect dust on the shelf. And again, use a highlighter and write in the margins, or those of you that are working on a notebook, write questions and then send me the questions. And say, hey, on page 47 of the Reading Study Guide, there's a quiz question. I have no idea why that's true and not false. Can you explain it to me, please? Don't be the kind of person that goes, yeah, I don't understand that, but I don't care. You need to be troubled if you don't understand a concept and learn the concept. The casebook, what you will see is the casebook uses dots. So, like if you go to the casebook on page 46, that's just what I opened it to, you will see at the top it says first touching of a free kick. And then it says 6.1.7. So what that's telling you is that's a Rule 6 casebook play. So if you go into the rules book and you see Rule 6, and 6.1, 6.1 Article 7, let's see, sorry.
Page 58.
Yeah, I'm trying to get there. Article 7, this is first touching of a free kick, and Rule 6.1.7 talks about first touching. So the casebook and the rules book are associated that way. The rules book is 6-1-7. The casebook is 6.1.7. And so when you go into the casebook, I would have a rules book with you and just kind of compare what the rules book says and then read the casebook play, and you can use those together. I would just, if the casebook is wrong and your spider sense is tingling, then you can email me or email Eric and just say, hey, well, I think this is wrong. What do you say? The mechanics manual, I've already talked about this. There's a section talks about philosophies. There's also a when in question or when in doubt. So when in question, the runner is down by contact and the ball is dead, rather than the runner fumbled before he was down. When in question, a pass is forward and not backward. When in question, the receiver did not catch the ball versus he did catch the ball. So there's a lot of goodness in the mechanics manual, and there's also a 3-person and a 4-person mechanics manual. So I need somebody to remind me to email those to you. Do you have them on the website? I think you do, don't you?
About 3 men, I think the 4 men is up
Yeah, so I need to send you the 3- and 4-person mechanics manuals, so that, because most of the time you're gonna be working 4-person when you start out. So let's just kind of go through the rules book for the rest of the time here. I want you to know how to read this document. So if you start at the beginning, the first page, it says Bob Colgate, editor, NFHS Publications. In the black box, you will read the last sentence of the first paragraph says, Member associations of the NFHS independently make decisions regarding compliance with or modification of these playing rules for the student athletes in their respective states. You can go on Facebook and you can find some really good Facebook groups like NFHS-football officials, and there's another one called NFHS football officials, I think. And you become a member of that group. Number one, they like to argue with each other. Number two, nobody knows the rules, and so they'll give bad advice. But number three is they'll argue about pant length, for example. And every state has a different interpretation of pant length. Just know that in Connecticut, they have the right to snap the ball from the 25-yard line in overtime. Whereas in Colorado, we snap the ball on the 10. In Connecticut, they toss the coach out if the player doesn't have pants that cover the knees, and in Colorado, we just go, dude, you know. And unless it's completely heinous, we let them play. So don't ever get into an argument on social media about any reason, for any reason, but just know that there are 49 states in one District of Columbia, and every state has the right to interpret. Our interpreter in the state is George Demetrio, the author of the Reading Study Guide. And we might say, okay, George, what's the interpretation of this rule that may have a little bit of a gray area? So we have the rules. We start out and we have the 2026 football rules changes. And one of the things that Randy brought up, and we're really not happy about this, is there are rules changes, and it looks like there are only a couple, but then there are also editorial changes, and this year, a couple of the editorial changes are actually significant rules changes. For example, Rule 8 talks about if Team B or Team R fouls during a scoring play, in some cases, the rules book said it can be enforced on the succeeding kickoff, and others say the succeeding spot, or the subsequent kickoff and succeeding spot. Now they've moved everything to the succeeding spot. They call that an editorial change, which is very confusing. But this kind of points you to all of the editorial changes, and then you'll also know if you flip through the book that anything in gray that you see, like for example on page 39, on Rule 232, Article 6, says a disqualified player can be permitted to remain in the team box area. That is a change from last year. Editorial changes are not supposed to change the rules, but I just lied, because this year the editorial changes will significantly change some of the rules. Points of emphasis is the next page. This is important because I might say to a coach who's being froggy on the sideline, Coach, sideline management is a point of emphasis this year. So you read through the points of emphasis. This is something that NFHS has said, we really want to be serious about emphasizing this. So the points of emphasis are flagrant and unsportsmanlike fouls. Something we'll tell you when we get to Rule 9 is any contact is a personal foul, and non-contact is unsportsmanlike. So if I give you the double middle finger and grab my crotch, that is unsportsmanlike. If I shove you to the ground, that's a personal foul. So flagrant and unsportsmanlike, helping the runner because of the tush push. We can't help the runner in high school. You can't do the tush push. Sideline management and control, because sidelines can completely get out of hand. And then identification of the NFHS authenticating mark on game balls. A football can be used in college, and so this football says NCAA on it, but every football that we use in high school has to say NFHS. There has to be an NFHS mark on the football. By the way, my son stole this from Rampart. He played for Rampart back in the early 2000s, in 2002 and 2003, and he was a long snapper. So he brought this football home back in 2002, and it's never left our house. So I guess I'm a thief. Yeah, so at TCA, they were using a kicking ball that was not NFHS, and one of the umpires, who I guess was the same mindset as Tim with his flip-flops on the field, he took his marker and he wrote NFHS on it, and he goes, okay, now it's legal. You know who that was?
You?
No. No. Full. Van Gamplers. Riker.
Oh, Riker?
Yeah.
What?
So then you go to the game, you go to TCA the next week, and they go, hey, last week he wrote NFHS on the ball. All right. I probably shouldn't have told that story.
I might have to cut that out.
What's
I
that?
might have to cut that out.
Yeah, cut that out. No, Riker's a good dude. Okay, so we go past that, and then we get to the rules committee, who cares, shared responsibility, who cares. Then they have diagrams, and we actually do officiate 8-man and we officiate 6-man, but here in Colorado, our 8-man football field is 100 yards long. And so we do 100 yards, but it's narrower. And then a 6-man field is 80 yards. You know, by the way, rookie officials will often work 6-man games and sometimes work 8-man games. So you need to be prepared to step on the field. And oh, by the way, Dean, how many varsity games did you work as a rookie? 7?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah, about 7.
And how many did you work, Eric? Like 20?
At least 10, Randy.
Yeah. Yeah. So
You're not going to ask me?
how many did you work as a rookie?
0.
How many did I work as a rookie? None. But we have 90 officials, plus you is hopefully plus 15-ish. And we have some nights with 14 varsity games on a Friday night. So do the math. All right.
We'll go to the next.
So field diagrams, and then each one of the rules. I'm going to go through each one of the rules later, not tonight. But each one of the rules has a number and then what that rule is. And I will bet you $10 million that there is no official in the Colorado Springs Association, including myself, who could actually correctly write down accurately the name of every rule. So I know that Rule 7 is passing and handling the ball. But if you ask me, not looking at the slide, I know that Rule 4 talks about when the ball is dead, the ball out of bounds, dead ball and out of bounds or something like that. I know that Rule 3 talks about the clock. I know that Rule 2 is definitions. But I couldn't tell you verbatim. So if you can memorize this, you'll be the smartest person immediately. So we're going to go through each one of these rules in the next couple of classes. And what I would, again, ask you to do is take the time to watch the videos, because there is a rule on the Art of Officiating website for each one of, there's a video for each one of the rules. And I just kind of go wave top. But it's helpful. I believe in necessary redundancies. It's helpful to see it online, take the quiz, and then come in here and listen to us talk about it. When you watch the videos online, please get a notebook and write your notes, write questions. If something doesn't make sense, write it down so that when we all gather together, we can talk about it. All right? You are gonna, the definitions is your vocabulary. You must know that kicking is an intentional act. You must know that a forward pass is an initial direction. Initial direction is part of the definition. You must know what a substitute is. So the words that we use are purposeful. The English words we use we say, coach, by rule, and we use purposeful words. Kicking the ball in fair catch, bad things happen when the ball is kicked. You know, that's when the buffoonery, the clowns come out. So rule 6, first touching, when does the clock start? I guess that's rule 3. But scrimmage kicks and free kicks, you know, the pucker factor is very, very high on scrimmage and free kicks. And then rule 7 includes like false start, encroachment, what a snapper can do. It includes the definition of a forward pass. It includes pass interference, those kinds of concepts. I guess I'm the one changing. Scoring plays and touchbacks, I will tell you my video is now wrong because of the editorial change about a score during a scoring, or a foul during a scoring play, so I need to fix that. Conduct of players and others is a big, huge rule for us. It defines what is a horse collar tackle, what is a face mask foul, what is fighting, all of those things. What's a blindside block? That's all rule 9. And then rule 10 is how do we enforce penalties? And that's something that we need to know cold. It's very, very difficult because you have the person that fouled, were they the team in possession or not in possession? When did the foul happen? Was the ball dead or was it live? Was it before a change of possession or afterwards? Was it beyond the line of scrimmage or behind the line of scrimmage? You know, what was the status of the ball? Those kinds of conversations are all part of penalty enforcement. Something that I know when I was a rookie and a young official I didn't really pay attention to, but I would like you to, is right after Rule 10, there's something called football fundamentals. And I would read that as if it were part of the rules. Football fundamentals, and it is a part of the rules book. It is a rule, it just doesn't have a number associated. So football fundamentals. And then we get into resolving tied games, which talks about, we go into overtime, resolving the tied game, and then some interpretations. And then notice on page 92 is 8 and 6 player rules differences. We don't play 9 player in Colorado. So when you get that phone call that says, hey, can you work that 6-man game at, who plays 6-man?
Kyle.
Spot? Hanover. At Hanover. The answer is yes. And then you go to the rules book and you brush up on 6-man rules. Then we get to comments on the rule changes on page 95. And then the penalty summary, page 96 and 97. This gives you a containers that give you 5, 10, and 15-yard penalties. So helping the runner is a 5-yard penalty. And on my crew last year, my crew penalized the team 15 yards for a helping the runner flag because 5 varsity officials didn't know that it was only 5 yards. 6 varsity officials?
Yeah, your play clock operator was there too.
But you were on the radio. Yeah, okay. Then football signals. And the signals are important if you're on my crew because I'm going to ask you, crap, what is the signal for first touching again? Or what's the signal for a legal forward pass? Sometimes white hats brain fart. And so this gives you the signals, and not just for a white hat, but also for being a football official. And that's one of the things we're going to cover when we do the mechanics, is how to show incomplete pass, how to show touchdown, how to show stop the clock, how to show wind the clock. All of those signals we're gonna go over. And then I think the rest of it is, oh, and then there's an index at the end. So we are gonna go through next week on Tuesday here, starting at 5:30. we're gonna go through Rule 1 as far as we can get. And then on the 14th, what we would like you to have is, we would like you to have a beanbag and a flag, a long toss flag, and a Fox 40 whistle, either lanyard or finger. On the 14th, we are gonna be on the field. On the 14th, you're gonna wear your PT gear. Don't wear your uniform, because then you'll stand out. So just, I mean, that's fine. Whatever is comfortable for you. We're gonna start in the classroom, and then Eric's gonna take us down, and we were told we can use the turf field. Before, we thought we were gonna be on the grass, but they told us the turf field will be ready. So you may be like one of the very first to touch that field of anybody. This week, you're gonna be looking for an invitation from Monica. If you don't wanna be a football official, you need to get with me like immediately, so that I don't send your name to Monica. I want you to watch, everybody has a syllabus. I want you to watch all of the week 2 material. If you already haven't done the week 1 material, you must make that up. It's 1 hour and 8 minutes, so it's not very long. And I think you can speed it up, so you can go fast. Don't go too fast, but you can go fast, and then take the quiz and pass the quiz, and then do the week 2 prep. And I think it's, 2 or 3 hours, so just do it if you can do it in one sitting or whatever, and get all that done before we show up next Tuesday. Anything that I need to add, Dean? Randy? Tim? Eric? Okay, any questions for me? If you have any comments you want to send me, you can email me. I have a thick skin. You can tell me that you didn't enjoy it. It was too much one-way communication, not enough conversation. Whatever way you want to make this better. Sorry about the smell. Hopefully nobody gets a headache. We won't be on the field next week. Try to order your gear, because the first scrimmage, I think it was in the syllabus, the first scrimmage I think is the 24th. Oh, by the way, the 24th is a Friday, so if you cannot get off of work to do the first scrimmage at Harrison, that's okay.
That's the one, is it that 9 o'clock in the morning game?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, 9 to Harrison High School.
Yep. So that's, if you can have your gear, your full up gear, everything, by the 24th, but we'd like you to have a whistle, a beanbag, and a flag, a long toss flag, before the 14th, so that we can go to the field and practice. Anything else?
No, quick question.
Go ahead.
What time do games start on the weekdays in the fall? Like if we went needed to, for work.
Yeah,
consideration?
so the question was, what time do the games start during the weekdays? I think the earliest middle school game is 3:30. And it's okay if you can't do it. It's okay. You don't have to lose your job or piss off your boss, to get to the field. And we also realize that for middle school and for sub-varsity, sometimes officials are running onto the field 5 minutes before kickoff. We realize that. Varsity, I want you in the locker room for a 7 o'clock game at 5:30 p.m. for a good pregame. But for middle school, we do the best we can. And my first year, I only worked 17 games my first year as a rookie, which I think is a lot of games. But we have guys that work 35 or 40 games. If your availability is good, you can pack them in. Because we have a lot of schools that want to play football. Good question. Any other? And then on Saturday mornings, I think the first game's at 9. You can actually work 2 games on Saturday. You work a 9 o'clock game and then you jump in your car and you race off somewhere else and you work a 1 o'clock game.
I think I asked you this in email. Are there youth leagues that we partner with, officiate
Yeah.
for on weekends?
So the question, so we do have a Parks and Rec part of our schedule where the youngest is 3rd and 4th grade. And those are sometimes the worst because the parents think that the NFL is gonna call their kids the next day. Or the coaches think, you know, Bill Belichick's gonna ask them to coach at North Carolina. And 3rd and 4th, 5th and 6th, and then middle school is 7th and 8th. And then C squad is freshman, JV is, can seniors play JV? I don't know. They can?
They can.
They can in football? Okay,
It's
and
6
then,
quarters a week, so.
yeah, and then varsity, obviously, 9th grade through 12th grade.
The middle school is sometimes 7th and 8th, and then sometimes there'll be a 7th grade game and an 8th grade game, so.
Yeah, yeah, like, for example, the 7th grade game starts at 3:40, or the 8th grade game starts at 3:45, and then the 7th grade game starts at 5:30, and it's 8 minutes for 8th grade, 7 minutes for 7th grade. Yeah. We don't get rich playing or officiating football, but it's still okay money, if you wanna take your spouse out to dinner, so. All right, thank you very much. We're gonna hang out for a couple minutes, just if you have questions or whatever.